It was September 2nd, 1945, 47 days after the world heard the word Hiroshima for the first time. And now, the eyes of the world turned to one single place, the vast gray deck of the USS Missouri, anchored in Tokyo Bay. The war that had ripped continents apart was about to end, not with more bombs or gunfire, but with ink on paper, and the unmistakable clatter of camera shutters. General Douglas MacArthur stood solemnly in his crisp uniform, surrounded by American generals, British admirals, Soviet marshals, and officers from 9 more nations, allies with their own feelings, vengeful, exhausted, wary of tomorrow. Japanese officials arrived in top hats and tails, their faces unreadable. They stepped quietly past rows of grim-faced Allied troops. Just 6 men represented the Emperor of Japan. Foreign Minister Mamoru Shigemitsu, walking stiffly on an artificial leg, some said a reminder of an earlier rebels' bomb, and General Yoshijiro Umezu, head of the Imperial Army, whose clenched jaw held back thunderous shame. A table was prepared, holding the instrument of surrender. MacArthur spoke. "We are gathered here to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored." His voice rang out over the deck, amplified for the entire bay. Shigemitsu signed first. Unsteady hands, deliberate strokes. Some said his pen lingered as if trying to change fate. Yet the pen was mightier than the sword that day. Then General Umezu signed, the army surrendering its will. The ink was fresh, but the hope was ancient. An end to bloodshed. MacArthur signed for the Allied powers, then representatives for the United States, Britain, the Soviet Union, China, France, Australia, Canada, the Netherlands, and New Zealand all stepped forward, one after another, each nation giving their own signature to the world's future. All across the deck, hundreds watched in ghost-like silence. Above, American planes thundered in salute, forming a symbol in the sky, promised that war, for now, was truly over. Radios crackled across the globe, and millions listened. Some cheered, some wept, some simply stood in stunned silence. For Japan, the moment was staggering. Their cities destroyed, their armies scattered, their emperor's godhood publicly renounced just the day before. Tokyo was still smoldering from the firebombs, and the twin shadows of Hiroshima and Nagasaki would forever remain in memory. Yet, on that deck, humanity glimpsed something different. Not just defeat, but a new beginning. One curious detail. At that table, the team hurriedly realized too late they'd prepared the surrender documents in the wrong order. The Japanese and the Allies signed different copies in a frantic shuffle. Small chaos amid earth-shaking calm. And another secret. Many soldiers on the Missouri that day kept silent souvenirs. Rings, pins, even ink blots splattered on white gloves. Somewhere in the crowd, a young naval officer watched history unfold without firing a shot. 50 years later, he would remember the silence. Not the sound of victory, but the hush of mercy. When the ceremony ended, MacArthur spoke 5 famous words. These proceedings are now closed, but the world was forever changed. World War II had lasted 2,194 days, claimed the lives of over 70 million people, left cities burned and borders redrawn. Now, with a few strokes of the pen, peace became official, if only in name, and a delicate new world order began. On decks like the Missouri, nations learned that sometimes the most powerful muscle is not the fist, but the open hand. What began in fire and fury ended with quiet signatures, and those 30 minutes on the USS Missouri shaped the decades that followed, from the birth of the United Nations to the long shadow of the Cold War. We remember that deck not for hatred or triumph alone, but for an ancient truth. that after even the darkest nights, peace can come if we dare to reach for it. So next time you see a grainy photo of solemn men in mourning suits under gray skies, remember the story behind it. The day the world laid down its arms and history took a deep, hopeful breath. But was peace ever really so simple? The end of one war was the beginning of 1,000 new questions. What happened next would define a generation.